little bit weak there. This video is going to be not a video game related video, sort of a social study commentary video, and I'm going to ramble a lot, and there might not be much of a point to it, so turn off the video right now. But I saw the bald and bankrupt guy. He got kicked out of Russia, basically, right? And I'm a casual enjoyer of bald and bankrupt, right? I think he's pretty interesting. I think it's interesting to see different cultures. Maybe like any human being, there's a sort of interest about different things. Generally, I would hope at least as a human being you have some different interests about different cultures. But so when I was looking up bald and bankrupt, whatever, like, why is he getting kicked out of Russia? What happened exactly? Was it for that airplane thing or whatever? I looked on Google and I searched up bald and bankrupt, and apparently there is a entire Reddit, and I would assume a sort of internet ether or social system or ecosystem of bald and bankrupt haters, right? And a morbid curiosity got me to look. Why are some people hating this guy? He's got 4.5 million subscribers when you combine his accounts or something like that. And one of the reasons I'm making this video is because obviously, even as small of a channel as I am, you know what I mean? I've had many stalker kind of problems throughout the years through video games, just insane psychos. And so there's this entire hate Discord to bald and bankrupt. And it basically all boils down to exposing him, which I didn't know, that he is a former pickup artist, which I did not know. But it is not surprising to me to see the guy that is goes out and is so friendly, speaking to people whatsoever. You know what I mean? You got to be a go-getter if you're trying to pick up a lot of girls, whatever. You got to put yourself out there a lot. So I was not very surprised, but I was disappointed, maybe not surprised by how much hate. Because there's like, oh, look at all this is so deep, so evil. We are exposing him that he was a pickup artist originally. Mr. Bald and Bankrupt is originally, God, I don't even remember what the fuck they said his name was, but they correlated this and this. Is like, I guess it was all him. He had the same stories of, I think it said he used to live in India and he was running a hotel and he lived there, did he say for like 4 years? And in the 4 years he was there, he had sex with 4 different Indian girls or some shit like that. I don't know, whatever. But I was just like, I was looking at all this and I'm like, where is the smoking gun for how evil this guy is for being a former pickup artist, right? And, I think about things like cancel culture and all this kind of stuff. And you're watching these videos and it's like, Mr. Bald and Bankrupt, he was a rapist. And it's like, damn, a rapist, that's pretty strong. What is the evidence that he is a rapist? And apparently, 20 years or so ago, he was accused of rape, apparently. And it was actually false. And if you actually look at it, the girl didn't even know what happened. And apparently the girl was actually making it up because at the time, she had a boyfriend and she didn't want to seem bad to the boyfriend that she was actually going around fucking all these other guys. So I'm like, damn, you just called him a rapist when it apparently from the own evidence you showed, if you look it up, it was not true. Then it's like, oh, Bald and Bankrupt, can you believe he had sex with all these underage girls? Look at this. And then they showed proof of him. He actually was turning down these girls, if you actually looked at it. And I was like, damn, this is the evidence? That you just really hate him because he was a pickup artist, I guess, right? I mean, the only legitimate thing that I saw that was even what I looked at it, and again, this is these things that I say here. I am trying to have a very sort of blunt, real conversation with you. Like, you got to remember, this is like if you're an adult, or maybe if you are not an adult, and if you're trying to have a real conversation, you know what I mean, about the way that the world works, about the way that people work. If you actually talk to girls and you know the kind of things that girls do you know what I mean, what guys do, whatever. This is like a blunt, real conversation, right? And when I was reading this stuff, I'm like, man, this is so... The only legitimate thing that I even saw that was like evil and malicious was the credit card thing. Like, if that was real, I don't know why he's not in jail for the credit card thing. The credit card thing was fucked up. Because that shows a maliciousness to me, right? There's a difference between, trying to have sex with somebody and maliciously scamming the government of money and everything like this that apparently he admitted to. You know what I mean? And there was something about Andrew Tate, which obviously that guy is questionable. I haven't looked up that guy a ton, but I've seen some on the guy, and I can fathom, from what I'm understanding, he is a questionable individual. And there was something like Bald and Bankrupt supports Andrew Tate, but all I saw was just him mentioning the name casually once that I saw. So I guess why I'm making this video is I just thought it was sad, and it shows like cancel culture and how, you know, for a guy that is showing the world and showing different cultures and everything like this, you know what I mean? Trying to show the good side of Russia, which, God, you need to see the good side of like these different countries. You know, I talk about the cancel culture in America. Americans are so fucking delusional about the outside world. You know what I mean? Completely delusional about the way that other countries work. When you hear Americans talking about like, oh, America isn't free enough, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, have you been to these other countries? Have you ever traveled? Do you talk to other people? So it was almost disappointing to see that there's actual whole ecosystems dedicated to hating the guy because they found out he was a pickup artist and he has sex with random girls sometimes when he's traveling. I was like, damn, that's the worst. Now, I don't know the guy, whatever, but to see the guy villainized for it coming out that he has sex with random girls while he's been traveling all these years, for many years apparently, I was like, damn, that's it? And people are like, oh my God, he's so fucking evil. I can't believe that. And it's like, because I mean, you read the threads and you're like, here's the evidence that he raped people, blah, blah, blah. And then you look at it and it's like, boy, that didn't actually show what you said it showed if you look at it. You know, I've always said that the pickup community, I mean, PUA kind of stuff for what it is, you know, it's very kind of, I've made some videos on it. I think it's one of those things, you know what I mean? It's one of those, you know, there's kind of like the blue pill, red pill. And I always say that I was force-fed the red pill because I grew up unpopular with girls and everything like that. And then I reached such a, I don't know if I want to say extreme amount of popularity, but a abnormal amount of popularity for a guy, maybe, so to speak. You know what I mean? I have seen the different way, you know, in my picture, I apparently faked cool enough that girls will neg me in public. People know who I am in public. I actually had some people come up to me, actually, today, I wanted to take a video. They knew who I was. Very, very small world, right? You know, and that's not just from video games, just from a, you know, cred or something. Street cred, fake street cred, right, dude? You know, but I was force-fed the red pill. Like, I always think that it would be better if you just take half a red pill. If you see a little bit of the way that the world works, a little bit the way of what the girl and boy dynamics work like, you know what I mean? To show you got to put yourself out there and you got to be, you know, honest about what's going on in the world. But I was force-fed the red pill, and it kind of like, you know what I mean, kind of made it hard to do things sometimes. But, you know, I just think about that, and I'm rambling now, I'm sorry, but I'm just like, God, they really hate this guy because he's been showing all these years, showing all these different countries. You see that he's friendly. I'm not surprised that he was a pickup artist, you know, whatever. I think they showed one of his friends was a pickup artist too, and they showed some videos of him, and he looked really cheesy. And, you know, obviously, I guess if you've ever actually gone out and tried to flirt with girls and have sex with girls, whatever, you know what I mean? You know, a lot of pickup stuff is kind of cheesy, I guess. You see a lot of pickup artists that they say they're really good, and I've seen people, and I'm like, man, dude, I don't consider myself that good, and I'm not impressed by what these guys are doing. And I always feel like pickup stuff, to me, it goes to show you one of the most important things is you just have to put yourself out there, dude. You have to put yourself out there for a chance to fail. You have to be friendly, blah, blah, blah. Like when that person came up to me today, you know what I mean? They came up to me with their grandma. You know what I mean? And I'm like joking around, flirting with the grandma. You got to be able to have conversations with anybody, dude. You know what I mean? It's actually not abnormal for me to go out and talk to a grandma or a grandpa. You gotta be friendly. You gotta put yourself out there, dude. You know, if you, so again, when I look at this stuff, I'm like, man, people are like, I can't believe he was a pickup artist and he was having sex with girls. And it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, some of these girls were so young, you know, whatever. It's like, oh my God, like, dude, do you talk? Like, I mean, these are such real conversations. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've said in my fucking experience, dude, if a girl gives you a chance to have sex with her and you don't have sex with her, she fucking hates you. She will make whatever up about you, dude, right? You know, oh God, I mean, I've made these kind of videos about boy-girl stuff, whatever. So I just always feel like, man, you guys don't have real conversations with girls. You don't like the like. Just think about any kind of crazy porno you watch. There's some girl that is into that. I knew a girl once who, just a random god, her fantasy, she literally told me she just wanted to be raped by a bunch of old guys on a train. That was something that she had fantasized about since a kid. Not a very PC conversation, especially for cancel culture. You know what I mean? I have a girl, she was telling me recently, she's been having sex with her fucking stepbrother since she's been young. I mean, if you have real conversation with people, if you talk to lots of girls, if girls trust you, if just another human being, you would be shocked if you were this politically correct person in society that you think people don't do things in pornos. Do you know what I mean? I had a girl, man. She fucking introduced me to her boyfriend the very first time. I don't even think it was an hour later. She basically wanted me to fuck her in front of the boyfriend. You know, I mean, these are not politically correct conversations, but this is the way the real world works. Do you know what I mean? And I just, again, I don't know the bald and bankrupt guy, but I see a guy, obviously he doesn't need my help with how many fucking bajillion followers he has, whatever. You know what I mean? But I felt like morally obligated almost, just because I felt it was just so, to see an entire ecosystem that was talking about, oh, we used to love this guy because he used to show that Russia wasn't a bad country, that, you know, all these Eastern countries, they were actually good people, blah, blah. And now we found out he's actually been having sex with people during these past 20 years that he's been doing this. And it was just like, and then you see videos like, oh, this is proof he's a rapist. And if you actually look at it, he was accused of rape like 20 years ago. And the girl was drunk and she had like a boyfriend. And so she just accused him and these other guys, multiple people. She just started accusing multiple people that all raped her because she was actually going around having sex with different guys. And she didn't want the boyfriend to be mad. It's just kind of like, I wonder if people are just, do they really think that maybe they're so politically correct that they think that, oh no, she would never have had sex with another guy because she had a boyfriend. He must have lied. And you know, for what it's worth, who knows? Maybe he did. Maybe he did rape her. I don't fucking know. But the proof they showed, it was like, what? I mean, I've showed my messages before. I've always said Snapchat is one of the most dangerous things ever, because Snapchat deleting messages, and I've had girls try to accuse me of trying to get with them, all this kind of bullshit. And I'm like, dude, you do realize you were not messaging me on Snapchat. All these messages are saved, and I turned you down, right? What about that? The fucking transgender girl, I didn't even know she was transgender. In my Instagram messages, constantly sending her fucking butthole. You know what I mean? Constantly asking for my dick. Not interested. And then she made up, oh, Clayton hates transgender people. I didn't even know you were transgender. And we can look at the messages. I turned you down. You were the one that was constantly sexually harassing me. Again, this overly politically correct, and I guess it's just the hypocriticalness and the irony of it, to see a bunch of people happy and say that they love the guy for showing what other countries were like, and that, you know, America is so delusional about the way that the entire world works. But then when it came to actually having sex with somebody, he's the devil now. And I guess from looking at the Reddit, and these ecosystems have been around for a long time, so it must not be hurting him too bad. But I was disappointed to see that myself, I guess. Do you know what I mean? Just as someone that has stalkers and everything like that. And I can only imagine what would happen if I actually legitimately became famous with the amount of haters that I have just at the level that I'm at. You know what I mean? I just think, wow, dude, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to make this like deeper, but I don't know if I want to get into too many of the stuff that, you know, God, just people have no idea the kind of stuff that, you know what I mean? I talked to, there's this one girl, oh my, I mean, there are some conversations that went that I had with girls that they are so fucking manipulative. I'm not even joking. There are some conversations that I have with girls, and it is such a level of manipulation, them telling me the stuff that they do to girl or to guys. I have actually recorded our conversations because it almost makes me afraid that this is the kind of girl that might accuse somebody of rape someday. Like no, I'm not joking. I legitimately have some conversations saved on my computer of when I've gotten to know girls, and some of the stories they have told me are so fucking manipulative that I'm like, wow, dude, I literally am going to start recording the conversations I have with this girl because I am afraid they might get a boyfriend someday and accuse them of rape, the kind of stuff that they're talking about. Just women are not innocent flowers, okay? Trust me. I have heard some fucking crazy stories. Just, like I said, anything that happens in a porno, someone has probably done in real life, for sure, if not worse. Like, you guys don't talk to real people, have not had sex with a lot of people, whatever the fuck you want to call it. If you have a girl actually open up to you, and I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying like everything is absolutely evil, that a girl is into some like kinky shit, whatever. You know, we all have our kinks, right? But I'm just saying, like, people act like the world is an innocent place or whatever. It's like, you guys, what are you talking about? What world do you live in? You know what I mean? Like, boy, dude, I mean, God, I want to tell some more stories about some crazy girls, but you know what I mean? Fuck me, dude. I could tell you a Bible of fucking just crazy stories that, you know, you're brought up and you're told the way that the world works, and get popular with girls and see the kind of stuff that if girl trusts you that they will tell you. You know what I mean? The stuff that turns them on, the stuff that they have done. You know what I mean? I've always said, man, you know, I was force fed the red pill because it was such a dramatic shift of me being so unpopular with girls, getting beat up at the bus stop every day. Girls tell me I was the most ugly person in front of everyone in class when I was a kid, to the way that girls treated me after. It was like, holy shit. And I still have a lot of girls treat me a really fucking, oh boy, I've had a lot of girls do a lot of really fucked up shit still, you know what I mean? For better and worse. Once you get to a certain level of popularity, I would say that I have a disingenuous kind of level of social proof, right? Which also doesn't help, but you know what I mean? You get the good and the bad, right? But at least there's some good now when a girl thinks you're cool. But a girl will also do some really fucked up shit once you're considered a cool guy. You know what I mean? But boy, I don't know. So again, anyway, I'm just commenting because it sucks that the bald and bankrupt guy got kicked out of Russia. I've always thought that I would have liked to go to Russia, but I always think throughout the years, I'm like, man, I'm never going to get to go to Russia. Just the visa was too much, the political climate. And you know, I saw that video of him. He had it looked like they were recording him at a police station, sort of. It looked like it was kind of it looked like it was suspect, like he had to put out a video where he was talking and it was suspect. And I was talking to my Russian friends and they're like, wow, his Russian is really good. And they're like, he has a terrible, terrible accent, which I don't recognize, but I don't know if she's going to watch this video, but we were talking about, she's like, oh my God, his accent is really bad. It's very obvious he's not Russian, but I can understand everything he is saying. And it sounds very, I live here. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like, you know, it sounds like maybe I just don't want to go to jail or something, right? You know, so I just think, oh my God, can you imagine if I went to Russia and I got in trouble? And I'm like, what Russian do I say to get myself out of trouble? I'm like, я научу тебя английскому, чтобы получить с тобой на свидание. Это мой толстый котик. Пожалуйста, чисат кото пузико. Привет, как дела? I'm just gonna start throwing out all sorts of fucking Russian because what the fuck do I do? Keep me out of jail. But man, yeah, just kind of a social study vlog. I know I've made a few PUA videos throughout the years, you know, and I was never like super deep into the scene, but I think maybe like anyone that is like wanted to talk to girls or a little bit like that, I read a little bit about it, and I looked at certain pickup artists, and you know, some like, that was pretty good. You know, I looked at, and other people, I'm like, that guy's amazing, and I'm like, man, that was the best. And I'm like, man, that was the best pickup he could record. And it's just like, man, and like I said, a lot of pickup stuff is just, it just shows that you gotta put yourself out there. You gotta put yourself out there, dude. You know what I mean? And so I guess at the end of the day, again, watching it, I'm like, oh, wow, he's a pickup artist. And I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. And again, to end this from away, it's almost actually people from away, it's almost actually pretty cool. I mean, if you think about this on a deeper level, to think that a guy started out as a pickup artist and then he became so immersed in the culture that he actually fucking cares. He actually learned about all these different cities, all these different people. And it's like, man, that's actually pretty cool. There are so many more evil people that are just totally wanting to fuck a girl. They will lie about whatever. And I'm like, I guess if this guy lied about everything, he did a fucking great job because he's learned all about Russian culture, all about all these different, you know, Eastern European cities. And it's like, man, that's pretty amazing that he got into it for the sex, for the pussy. And now he's a fucking great promoter of, you know, don't hate all these countries, have a biasness towards them without knowing what they're about. Right? Isn't that kind of like a beautiful thing? I mean, you think about me, the things I like in life, you know, I like big lips, big butt. I like big lips. Big lips. I'm like, man, I like the hot Spanish chicks. And of course, I'm also like, man, the Russian chicks. I mean, God, Russian girls, they fucking, are they bred out of a factory? Where the fuck are they coming from? They're all so fucking beautiful, right, dude? And I'm just saying, and of course, you know, my interest in Russia was always like, you know what I mean? I grew up and, you know what I mean? I just like the Russian players. I, you know, played hockey, liked hockey a little bit. I didn't like play hockey seriously, but you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I always liked the Russian players. And so I was into Russian, you know, culture sort of a little bit. You know, I'd read about it and I was kind of like, man, I like, this seems interesting. I like the story. I don't want to hate Russia. I'm not an easily impressionable youth. I don't want to hate Russia. And they're like, oh my God, all these girls are so fucking beautiful. But of course, what do I know about the country? Fuck, I sound more petty than Bald and Bankrupt, right? You know what I mean? He's mastered the entire fucking language. Now, of course, you know, his health is better than mine. God, I would love to travel. You know what I mean? Like that. I mean, it sucks. I wish my health was better like that I could fucking travel like that and go on all these adventures. But, you know, again, the point is people talking about him talking about sex and talking about fucking girls. You have no fucking idea real life about what the kind of stuff girls like. It doesn't even matter if you were talking to a super fucking religious girl. Do you know the kind of stuff that super fucking religious girls have told me? Porno shit, dude. Girls from other sorts of countries that don't talk about that shit, dude. No idea if you're having a real conversation. Anyway, like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks.